I love it. Number 54, subject 54, Matt. It's like shit, dude.
Experiment number 54.
And even the way we're sitting, this feels like it's an interview. It's like an interview.
It is. It's different. That's the joy of sitting differently every time. See what kind of juice we get out of this fruit every time.
This feels like a very specific interview. It feels like I'm going to have to be... Let's see.
That's pretty quick, dude.
Yeah. Just keep your mind open to fresh and fun ideas.
Matt, thank you for joining. 54th episode of the Neverending Becoming. I'm going to unplug this amp strat here before I get myself in trouble.
I think that went better than, yeah, that was great.
It did. It came on.
That was really good. And that's how you Neverending become, everybody.
Came on dangerously fast. I want to talk to you about a few things.
Dangerously fast. I love it.
Then we're going to shoot to our categories. First, I want to talk to you about like modern monetization, T-shirts, merch, how that changes our relationships with artists. Things we've talked about before, but, you know, other things I'm interested in. Also, $2 trillion company. We have our second ever $2 trillion company. We'll tell you what that company is and what is going on there later on. And then silent moments, intentionally making space, making sure your media diet is this or that. Let me ask you the first category, first association. First thing that comes to mind, last thing that comes to mind, anything that comes to mind for the word logo.
Brand.
Okay.
Same thing, right?
Well, yes and no.
Yeah, right?
Titan.
Man, there's so many that came to mind. Vince McMahon.
That's great. That's great.
Titan Towers. That's what he calls his building. His building, it's
Does he
Titan
really?
Towers. Yeah, WWE headquarters is called Titan Towers. And
Well, Trump Towers was taken.
yeah.
Obviously. The concept of fairness.
Almost outdated.
Ooh, goddamn, dude. That cuts.
Doesn't it?
Summer break?
Here. Yeah. That was my thing. I was going to be like, let's talk about summer and summer breaks and all that vacation. You know, that's a feel. That's a feel I feel right now.
I don't know if this is accurate, but I feel like we didn't talk about summer last year until it was like pretty much over.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
I felt like we were just getting into like, because it was so weird, you know, the timing of everything was just so bizarre. It was like, oh, I guess it's summer or not. Time doesn't feel like it's moving at all.
Yeah. Everything had a delay. Letters.
Numbers.
Like written letters. Still numbers?
Stamps.
Matt's a collector.
Again, outdated.
No, you're just proving that's your hobby, collecting.
Collecting, yeah. Stamps. I like stamps.
Two episodes in a row.
How can I get the monetization of things? You know, what's the new you know?
That's right. Well, actually, I brought up modern monetization. Clubhouse.
Mickey Mouse.
Mm-hmm. This old house.
Man. Yeah, that I'm thinking about this game I'm playing called Control because it's called The Old House. It takes place in the old house, so it just yeah, it's really weird. It's an infinite house. It's a very cool game. Everybody should play it. It's called Control.
Is it easier to play to your camera now that you can see?
Oh, I love it.
What you're doing.
It's so much better. I'm not even looking. Yeah,
you got a little sauce here
I
too. So both sides of your face, whether you're.
I can't because if I go back too far, you can't see me.
Whether you're coming or going. Okay, I got 3 more for you. House
hear.
party.
House Party 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's the only answer. Calmness.
Tranquility.
And finally, the news blues.
I thought of Conan O'Brien because I was thinking, I was like, I want to get him in here. But then I thought sadness because I'm sad news blues that Conan is off the air now.
He's got that Irish sadness that he uses to great effect also.
And I don't know why. I feel like it was not fair. Like I was already had Conan that I wanted to talk about him. And so hearing sad news blues, I was like, I'm bummed about that.
From now on, when we do this, you should definitely have a forced answer. You just like shoehorn your way in there no matter what.
Oh, yeah. I'll try to get something in. Like, yeah. G.I. Joes. What? Some of it's just like totally random, you know?
Look how productive we're getting 54 episodes in, though. We sang. We went through TED categories.
Yeah.
Did a little teaser. Trying teasers at the beginning.
And now you set up the whole thing of what, you know what I mean? You got some topics.
I'll throw this away now.
No. I loved it.
We need it. I mean, the categories are the hard part to remember.
It
so
is,
at this point, we'll
have to go back to it, though. You know, I feel like you promised a bunch of stuff at the top. So if we don't deliver about all those things by the end, you know.
So modern monetization. Obviously, we're accepting donations at our Patreon, which is going to be for a Kickstarter, which is going to be for our Indiegogo. We need to fulfill one goal requirement before getting to the other.
And it's going to be a GoFundMe first, though, right? Do we start with did you say GoFundMe in there?
Well, actually, fuck. It should be the new order. First, you open up a OnlyFans. Oh. Right? Or is that last? I can't remember. Do you start with the OnlyFans or end with the OnlyFans? It's hard to tell with media nowadays.
I think you acquire it as you're going up the chain, and then you're like, you know what, I'm gonna actually get an OnlyFans too because I'm getting so much money from all these other subs.
No, you're right. You have to have fans for OnlyFans. That's a huge flaw in this.
You know, I got like 10,000 viewers. Now let's do like an OnlyFans sub and like give them like, I guess, exclusive content.
But isn't OnlyFans is not just pure sexual acts anymore?
No,
it's turning into like a fan club
majority sexual. I think originally it was supposed to be like a fan clubby idea, and then it was just like, oh, hot girls, let's do that instead, because that's where most of the money makers.
Yeah, porn leads with everything, though, right? So
well, porn is
open the door, and then everyone else can walk through it.
Porn is a technology aggregator. You know, porn and that has forced and been such a good. Well, I shouldn't say good, but it's forced the internet to move so much forward. Like think about like video encoding and all that stuff. So much of that.
I do constantly, actually.
So much of that.
Video
so
encoding, not porn.
Though, like,
sorry,
oh wait, what were we talking about?
Do you remember that scene in Tropic Thunder where he like talks about the Blu-rays versus HD DVDs and the porn industry, the way we got to this is.
Yes, exactly. Oh God, that movie is so fucking good.
But back to the modern monetization elements.
Oh yeah.
This isn't how this $2 trillion company, that's Microsoft, by the way. I'm just going to spoil that. It's the second company to hit $2 trillion. First company to hit $2 trillion. Do you know it?
Was it it's Apple? I don't know. Yeah,
yes,
of course, right?
Of course.
I felt like it was a trick question. I was like, it's not Tesla. It's got to be Apple.
Well, dude, when we were fucking born, if you had to guess what the two biggest companies were, I mean, it was almost at that time, it was Apple and Microsoft. They've been the biggest companies for like 20, 30 years. Right. You know, it's crazy how some things never change. Yeah. Everyone's talking now about like brand new investments, whatever. But the two biggest companies are like Apple.
Yep.
Microsoft, you know, Windows is Microsoft. But back to the modern monetization. First off, do you pay any like subscription services?
Absolutely
do you
not.
Give money? We talked about your mom's house.
Yeah.
In their live specials.
Yes. And actually, that it made me think of that other thing they have. They have another thing where you can sub to like their YouTube channel, and you pay a fee. I think it's like $5 a month, and you because they have that on YouTube now, and you can get their episodes completely ad free. And so, you know, they
just
have the ad breaks. Yeah. And there's other podcasts that do that on YouTube, but it's like, you know, you don't just sub to the channel. You, there's another word for it.
Pseudo sponsorship.
Yeah.
That's what it seems to be moving
That's exactly
towards.
what it is. And then, you know, you're sponsoring it literally. So there's no commercials because you're already paying your $5 a month for all your stuff, you know?
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're really making bank on that.
I can't even keep up with the different ways that they're.
Yeah. They're so smart. And then you talk about merchandising. If I'm not mistaken, he owns merchmethod.com, which is his own merch company. And he also has a bunch of other comedians under that umbrella of merchandise for him.
I've been seeing Spring a lot. I don't even know what it is, but on like YouTube pages, it's like, you know, look at these t-shirts from Spring.
Interesting. Yeah. I know they're
big
like
YouTube accounts.
Cheap t-shirt company that just started to
I tried to go to the homepage to even figure it out. Didn't spend too much time, but it looked like they were just basically allowing you to upload some graphic, and they were doing the selling and everything for you.
Got you.
Like,
interesting.
That sort of thing.
Oh, really interesting.
Where
so
you
it's like
just need intellectual property. You don't need anything else.
Yep. Because so much of what, you know, that's a big common thing now, right? Is like, you know, Urban Outfitters will have somebody's artwork on their shirts and they just fucking stole it and they're selling it. And it's just like, you see your shirt of your silly design of whatever, and what are you going to do? They're like, no, we got it from the internet. You know, this way you could just put it right on a shirt and you're good to go and you're getting your own money for it.
Painful.
It's crazy though. Yeah. It's crazy. Though I think it's awesome though, how that is like a leveling the playing field with like monetization. You know what I mean?
I want to be positive about it, and I generally am pretty happy about it because it seems to be more individually focused, and there's less middle people that don't do anything.
Think
Agents
about that with
and
music.
Distributors.
Yeah, how much money goes to artists? Most artists like to tour because their money comes from touring, not making the CDs. That CD money just goes right to the CD execs. You know what I mean? As far as my little music understanding, so I keep playing on that camera. My little music understanding.
He's probably gonna die anyway. Who the fuck knows?
My music industry knowledge, right? But like, yeah, like it's good that it's going to more individuals, and there's like less middlemen making money off of this. And I think too that keeps the cream rising to the top, because then you're gonna get the best people are going to get the best, hopefully, right?
Yeah.
No, I don't feel like you didn't.
Well, I'm trying to think if it could be sort of like a self-fulfilling ecosystem or like a positive reinforcement thing where if you have to be paid individually, then the individuals that get paid could grow at a size. I'm not sure. I have more questions than answers.
But then you have very
to it at this point.
polarized figures also that become very popular, right? Because people find that like niche person, and then they like, and that person becomes really popular, and they might not be the best person to become popular, but there's a couple of those guys right now that are out there.
Name names. Go ahead, do it.
No, I don't know. There's actually.
No, we'll keep it positive.
Yeah, no. It's right now the big kerfuffle is Ethan Klein. That podcast, right?
No.
Oh,
Nope.
okay. Ethan Klein. He's a big podcaster.
Speaker.
And he went after this guy Steven Crowder, who's a big conservative.
Heard of him?
Yeah, Steven Crowder. And then Steven Crowder's always like, I'm going to debate you. There's this guy Sam Cedar who's on a more, that guy too. You're smiling. I don't know.
I'm smiling. No,
because he's just saying these names that don't mean
the drama
anything.
has 3 characters. I know one out of the 3 already.
Right. Either way, he's tried to debate Ethan, and Ethan brought this guy on and was like, debate me instead because I can actually debate you. And Steven Crowder just kind of ran off, and it's this whole nonsense kind of. It's like drama. It's like internet drama, but a lot of it has to do with these personalities who are supported by their little camps, right? Like they all got patrons, they all got subscribers, and it's like these little wars, and you see like the flame wars in like the subreddits and like on the like the Instagram hashtags.
I love that expression.
Like,
the flame wars in the subreddits.
Wars. Yeah, dude. It's like because it's like it starts with these 2 people and you're watching them, and then it's all these little subs and all these little people that like I shouldn't say little people, but all these people that are into this content, and it's
powerless peons. I think is what you were going for.
The plebs. But it's like it's interesting because you have these people, and then like there's like your mom's house people that like you said, this monetization, you get in your camps. I feel like you get in your camps. That's what I'm trying to say.
I got a theory. How about the individual based monetization? Maybe the money ends up being smaller versus like a studio type deal, which means that the people that are just in it for the money and aren't willing to grow like an audience or to grow their skill in the vocation, maybe they're more likely to take the side door or get out of it. Maybe it allows for more people who care more specifically about the craft to rise to the top, as you said, because they're okay with the smaller amount of money and the fact that everything has been fractioned off.
I think
there's just as much. It seems like there's just as much money in everything.
Yeah.
Now the money is
Absolutely.
just going into smaller and smaller media silos, right?
Yeah, and like you said, there's less middlemen. So who's to say even that chunk is smaller when you're taking out like 5 guys, right? When you're like I was just talking about Conan. He's going to do his podcasting more, right? And how much money is he going to? Yeah, I think he'll make. I shouldn't guess. I don't even know. But if he's willing, if he's willing to just like end his career, and he's like, I'm just straight podcasting.
End his career.
I'm sure. I know it's a little dramatic. I'm sure though that he's making a good chunk from podcasts.
You must be now.
Because you're taking out so many people. It's just what I mean, as small as you want it to be, right? And it's still that person, and you still have your subs, your fans.
What had more fans, you think, at the end, his podcast or his TBS show?
I don't know, right?
What kind of mindfuck is that? Are more people watching Conan on YouTube or are more people watching Conan on late night cable?
I only watch Conan on YouTube. I'm just going to say, yeah.
He was able to kind of, wait until the TV generation dried up, and now he's easily converting.
Absolutely. All these
to
podcasters.
the online era.
Yeah, because people still love Conan. He's not unloved. It's just, people don't watch TV anymore. People listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
So wait, I can have an hour interview with the guy I like and another guy that he likes, and they can riff on each other for the whole hour. Give me that. And there's no commercials and no shitty bits, and they're not having to plug movies all the time. Oh, I want that,
I've always I'm so excited for Conan. I really want Conan's like real feelings on things. And I know when they're constantly promoting things from these big studios or a lot of his media partner players that he's like gonna hold his tongue for a lot of things. He can't be full 80s Letterman.
He was already shit talking HBO Max though. He was already like
Was
shit talking. Yeah, he already called it like a pyramid scheme, and he was like, they had Andy Daly come out and do like it's a pyramid scheme, and he had like have the whole billboard, and he's just like, so you're saying that like he's like, well, if you want your show to air, you need to bring in 2 shows to HBO Max, and then and then he shows the board, and it's got all these TV HBO Max shows on there. So he's already riffing on HBO Max while he's on TBS, which is I think owned. I think there's a Warner Brother conglomeration, whatever. I'm not sure, but there's only like 3 media companies now, right?
I feel like you have to at least shit on your parent company to be taken seriously.
Right,
Like the Simpsons always did that.
Always. Well, Fox was
Conan's
always
alma
fine
mater.
being a punching bag. I feel
He
like
shit
in all
on
the
NBC
shows.
though. Conan did that at NBC.
Fuck. At the end, they were talking about that how when he was getting kicked off the Tonight Show, he was doing those really, really expensive comedy bits that weren't really funny.
Yeah, he like blew the budget at the very end.
He was
right?
like, yeah, well, this isn't funny, but this is a Bugatti, a mouse Bugatti, and we're going to play the Rolling Stones over it. And it was, it was like a crazy expensive. He's like, I know it's not funny, but it's sure as fuck expensive, like really sticking it to them at the end there.
I can't wait to see him move on. Did you see he was kind of having like a Elon Musk smoking weed, Joe Rogan thing?
I watched that. Yeah,
God damn, that made the rounds.
It did. And then
instead of Joe Rogan, he got
doing
Seth Rogen.
Oh yeah,
basically to get him high. What is with the Rogans getting people high?
Rogans love pot, dude. I'm saying it now. Rogans love pot.
This is an Irish last name, so I gotta watch it. I got Grattan in. Can't give people.
I really did enjoy that though. It was super funny, and I could tell.
The thing is, we all want to see that. We all want to see Conan be real, be normal. That's what I was saying. I want to hear his real opinion on things. I want to see him.
Which is why
light
I think
it up.
if he goes to HBO Max, I would like to see unhinged Conan. You know what I mean? In a variety show like Unhinged, like really, because he's so good at being self-deprecating, but also cutting another human being down to size. You know what I mean? Like he has no problem just ripping somebody to shreds, and then like what? Like it's so funny, and I would love to see him do that to people's acts.
I'm excited for his freedom. Mm-hmm. You mentioned his career is over, so now that he's got amateur podcasters,
his late night career,
telling him that he's finished. Obviously, that's a sense of freedom that
it did feel like an end of an era, though. It did feel like
come on, I mean, broadcast is still different in that it wallpapers hospitals and just ends up, getting in diners and getting in front of people's faces. You're not going to see at the same scale, regardless.
Free
of how
TV is always on,
your
right?
TikTok account is.
Yeah. But TV in itself that's not how the new consumers of media consume media. It's not through network television anymore. That's just not like that's stuff for older folks, I guess. You know what I mean? Like it's just not. It's not.
Conan will make the transition. Nicely.
He will. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He was meant for stuff like this. It's almost a shame he couldn't have been a bigger pioneer in it. That he when he left the Tonight Show, he didn't go to TBS. If he just would have jumped straight to the internet era type stuff.
Yeah. I think TBS made him an offer he couldn't refuse, though. I think that was what that was. I think he could have done anything he wanted, and he you know what he flat out said it last night.
Rogan money. Seth or Joe?
I don't know if it was the money. It was the complete freedom. It's like, we'll let you put on your show, and you can put on the show that you want, and we will not bother you.
That's
at all.
big.
And I think that's what he was like. Okay, cool. And then that gave him the freedom to literally do all these other extra things, and
Yeah, and in fairness too, that was still before the full paradigm shift when like Facebook was considered to be a desktop application. It still wasn't viewed being a mobile app.
100%. Smartphones. This is 11 years ago. So smartphones were big, but they're not where they are now. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy how fast technology has shifted. And then that brings it back to the monetization, because things have shifted so fast, and that television technology has dropped so much. All this money, where are we going to put all this money? All these advertisers have all these advertising dollars, and they need to spend it on things, right? You know what?
I'm back to the monetization thing. I forgot that with phone technology, we used to never be logged into any accounts. We used to not save our credit cards. There was no Apple Pay. Like the conducive nature of modern payment systems are a huge deal for smaller billers, like people that don't have a billing department and people that don't have like sophisticated means to set up online stores or shops. Like when the pay or the subscribe or the donate button is just like under the Instagram video or next to the podcast link, it totally changes it.
Keeps it real easy.
Yeah.
It's just technology has made it more accessible for financial transactions, small person-to-person financial transactions. Being able to play like Zelle, right? I can just quick pay you $20 from my account, and invisibly it'll just change hands in 10 minutes.
All the cameras and equipment, microphones, obviously were purchased with Bitcoin on this podcast. So there's so many revolutions that have come to the surface.
Exactly.
I think I got my computer. I bought it with some ETH. I think I used a little Ether
Wonderful.
For that bad boy.
Wonderful.
But all sorts of different revolutions helping us out.
Yeah, it's the way of the world now is going to be like these small scale creators, and it's going to be carving up your little piece and how much you can carve and blah 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 blah. And then you'll get if you get to the size of like Rogan, where one of these places want to like sweep you up and eat it. You know what I mean? Like you'll be doing it. You know, Spotify. That's one. All these little podcasts to be exclusive to Spotify.
Did you see that Spotify released a Clubhouse imitation app?
Oh, makes sense. Yeah. I want a little piece of that pie.
Hasn't everyone learned, like, you can't create a new app? You have to just use the home app. Like, Instagram tried to have an Instagram TV app where they were pushing people to long-form video, and everyone's like, no, fuck you. I'm going to stay on Instagram.
Yep.
I'm never going to click on this app. I'm never going to go to this app. It's going to be the same fucking problem with Spotify.
That's always why I hated Facebook making a messenger app.
Yeah.
And that's a big reason why I got rid of it, because I hated that there was I'm like, this is dumb.
They went hard, though. They started forcing people.
They did, literally. They forced you to do it. And I was like, nah, I'm good. So that's why if anybody Facebook messages me, it's like every 6 months I'll check it and be like, oh. And then I have like 5 or 6. And then, actually a friend of mine moved away to LA and he sent it to me in a Facebook message and was like, we hadn't seen each other in a couple of years. It's all good. But like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to LA. I'll probably never see you again. Peace. And it was like 30 days ago. I was like, damn, I wish I would have maybe saw it. Maybe we could have connected before he left, but it's all good.
Well, do you have anything you want to say in case they're watching?
No, they're definitely probably not watching.
What would you respond to? A smiley face or a good luck?
No, I sent a response like, oh, good luck, blah blah blah. I gave him some comics that I'll just never get back, and that's fine.
Back to the collecting.
Always.
Back to the collecting. Well, the monetization thing, we'll just keep checking back in with that throughout the episode. I mean, honestly, the fact that like payment buttons and whatnot are just built in, and that you feel so safe paying for things, and people now are Venmoing. You mentioned Zelle, whatever the fuck that is.
How about Twitch, man? How about Twitch in and of itself,
Cash
and
apping?
Subscribers to Twitch, right? Like that's the new, like one of the newest, biggest. I shouldn't even say new. It's like 3-4 years old now. But you watch these streamers
acquired by Amazon.
Yeah, these streamers. Microsoft Mixer, which failed horribly, which was trying to be the stream alternative, right?
Oh, did they have one?
Yeah, it's called Mixer, and they hired a bunch of the Twitch streamers, spent like tens of millions of dollars hiring these guys, and then they went to Mixer and like people didn't follow, and it was just like there was the diehards that followed, but it was just like you said, the app is Twitch. The app isn't Mixer, it's Twitch.
I mean, arguably, this is also the Joe Rogan effect, going to a different app. People won't follow him to Spotify, even though it's technically the same as YouTube in a way.
So Twitch though is the same thing. Is you have like subs, and they subscribe to you, and like you don't get a hit. It's not like they have to. Like there's a secondary. I think there's a secondary currency that they use to pay for the subscriptions. So then part of it goes back to you, and then so you want like all of these subscribers to you because you're getting money from Twitch, right?
You do it based on subscribers, not view.
No, not viewers. I think it actually that's probably not true. I'm sure it's both.
Right.
I'm sure it's view count because like there's live streamers, right? So you do get streamers who are like there's like however many hundreds of people watching that current streamer, and they get money from that. And there's people in the chat and blah 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 blah, and then there's and I could go hard on all this stuff because recently there's been never mind. That's a whole other lane of Twitch. It's just interesting how Twitch is exploding for this live performance art, and it's like it's not just video games anymore. Now there's like scantily clad women in hot tubs.
Yeah, I've been hearing some of that, seeing some of that on Reddit.
That's coming up.
Speaking of OnlyFans, right?
Right, and they're turning Twitch into like So what did Twitch do? Because several of these girls were some of their most popular Twitch streamers, right?
And it was showing up in like recommended content regardless of preference or any gender,
because it was just so fucking popular. So they gave them their own category called like pools and hot tubs or something like that.
They have like a category on Twitch for that?
Specifically, they made a Twitch category for it because like they were breaking their terms of service, right? Like they were exposing things, but they were making so much money. They were like, okay, what do we do? So they made a whole new category for it. And then, of course, two of these girls broke the category, like the specifications are already within their own category. So then they had to ban them for 30 days, which makes everybody, well, I shouldn't say everybody, I don't give a shit, but it makes all these freaking, like these kids, right? Because it's got to be a lot of high school prepubescent kids who are, because it's primarily video game watching on Twitch. And now they find these girls playing games and wearing, and whatever. So they got kicked off for a while, and now Twitch is not making money from them, and now they're not making money from Twitch, and it's
even the company's biggest Twitch figuring out who they are exactly. the person I just had on the podcast, Jacob, I was asking him about different like categories that poetry is put into or tags it's applied, because I was curious how people, found different avenues to different work. And I was talking to him about how now that I'm doing the work to get the podcast on the iTunes store, you have to select like your category. Like I can only select one main category for what this podcast is.
Self-help, right?
That's the eventual category. And no, actually, you're limited. I think society and culture is what this falls under, which is like, I think most podcast categories. They have news, they have certain ones that seem obvious. Business, whatever. But there are limited categories. Like you can't just do anything. And obviously they're going to keep adding pools and hot tubs and all these different facets as time moves forward.
Right. As the internet culture wants it. You know what I mean? It's interesting. But you talk about monetization. Like these people wouldn't have existed 4 or 5 years ago. You know what I mean? Like these live personalities. And like I realize how old I am when I think about some of this stuff, because I'm like fascinated by it. But like back in the day, I would have like done a super deep dive. I would have found out who all these personalities were. I would have like watched a bunch of shit. I would have like figured it out, And now I'm like, that's for young people. I don't even know what's going on over there. I don't even know. It's just girls in hot tubs showing their hooters. I don't know. It's like, it's just not.
What's old is new again in some ways, obviously.
And I'm sure they all have patrons and they all have these, extra subscribe to these other channels to see all this other content.
Gotta ask.
You love me, like.
Have you ever even gone to a Patreon page?
I think so. Yeah, there was a comedian's, I think, that I was thinking about subbing to a couple comedians. And a podcaster, there's a podcaster that was like, hey, if you sub here, you get opened up to all this extra content. But I've not subbed to anybody.
I like the idea of subscribing to someone and like contributing to their cause or like sponsoring what they do. Yeah. But the Patreon thing rubs me the wrong way a little, because you're like stratifying the content, where you're making it so that like there are things that people cannot see. Yeah. It just seems like in a world of abundance, it's silly and greedy and crazy.
But like, to counterpoint that,
help me out.
How do you in this new age of everything being out there, how do you make money off of your art? You know what I mean? If you're an artist,
you just don't make as much. I think that's just part of the game now.
But like I was saying before, when you put your art out there and you have like a deviant art page, right? And you just put it up there. And then it's just like, oh, here's all my art for free, right? And everybody's like, okay, cool. And you could take commissions, right? You could take commissions, and that's a big popular thing right now, is you find an artist and you take a commission for it. But at the end of the day, when somebody's just able to steal that really good piece of art of yours, it's not like
it shouldn't. I don't think it should be permissionless, or I don't know. Attribution, I think, still matters.
NFTs for everybody. Right, no.
God damn it, this is going to turn into an NFT thing.
No.
I knew it.
But again, that's another, people are saying that's a way for artists to be able to sell and make money off of their.
Yeah, but smart contracts, they make sense and all that. But to me, it's more like the work either matters and you want people to see it, or it just doesn't matter. Like the Patreon example, is the Patreon work that artist's most crucial work? It's probably the extra stuff.
Sometimes.
Maybe I'm wrong.
Sometimes.
I don't know.
Again, I think it depends. Tim Dillon, he's got a lot of his stuff, his episodes behind a Patreon, right? And like if you want to listen to his real stuff, I know that a couple of comedians started doing that with their stuff.
I just listened to a Tim Dillon episode. I've never heard his show specifically. I've heard him on this. These guys fucking hilarious.
Love
By the way, he's got the engine in that man is unfucking believable.
Yeah.
But I swear, I only listened to a few episodes. One of them was a Patreon episode. And he's like, "Oh, it's so good, we had to share it on the real channel." Maybe this is part of why I had that impression.
Yeah.
Is he was specifically like, this was supposed to be Patreon only, but it was the bomb, so we had to put it on.
Right, exactly.
Which maybe is giving me this impression like, who the fuck even wants to listen to your Patreon stuff then if it's like.
But if you're a guy like Tim Dillon, who is like, honestly, I was thinking about, I love Tim Dillon. He's out of his mind, right? And he's somebody I support. I support him. He's literally somebody that I was thinking about. I haven't done anybody ever. And he was somebody I'm like, man, I really like what he has to say because it makes me laugh. He doesn't take himself seriously, but he's very, he's got a point of view and a personality.
Spit and fire. Truth teller.
Sometimes
with lies.
Yeah,
with constant lies.
He's a carnival barker, dude.
Yeah.
But like for our generation, right? You want to talk about like our Rush Limbaugh, it's that guy, right? But he doesn't take sides. He takes everybody. He just doesn't like anybody, right? He just all takers, right? It doesn't matter.
I don't even know our Rush Limbaugh.
Yeah, I know.
No, I'm just trying to think, like, because I think you're onto something there. Carnival Barker felt great to me. He's obviously like I don't want to say a shit crusader or like a troll king to some degree.
No, I would say he's a troll king. I think he would even say himself he's a bit of a troll king, because he knows he knows which buttons to push, and he's just scorched earth. You know what I mean? He's just like, fuck you. No, really.
He's kind of like a young person doing an impression of like a dumb person on Fox News.
Yeah, he's like 36. He's like 36.
Why don't we just fucking kill these people and then take them out back and shoot them? Take the skin off their face.
He's so
slice it off, molecule and layer by layer.
He's so nihilistic. He's just so nihilistic.
He's like a Rick and Morty vibed.
Yes. Yeah. Let it all burn.
Carnival barking. Listen, let it all burn.
We're at the end of the empire. Okay, so let it all burn. Go have yourself a smoke. Enjoy the ride. That's his whole shtick, right? Let's let it on fire.
Tim Dillon impression, by the way. So
I don't know, but he's always moving his hands around, and he's just like, no. Let me, I have to work on it. But I love it, Tim Dillon. I love to do it, Tim Dillon.
Yeah. I need the gravel. I need more of that gravel that Tim Dillon gravel.
He's got a good voice.
It's absolutely routine. I can't get there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not even close. Yeah, need the compressors.
But yeah, he's another one, and I think he's the new king. I don't want to say king of podcasts.
He is though,
but he really is, man. He really is.
The fact that you brought him up here, even because he's been on my screen, my like minutia zeitgeist, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. I watched him do a bunch of. I've been watching either, and then the YouTube rabbit hole, right? Which it's. I was thinking about it the other day. I used to never watch YouTube, right? Never. I would just be like, you sit around and watch, who sits around and just watches YouTube? Me. I'm the guy now. Right? Because it just gives you what you want to see. So if you want to watch a bunch of videos of like old school Cosby interviews, I know I shouldn't say that, but I still watch them. Here's a bunch. You watch one clip of Tim Dillon shit talking Anthony Jeselnik, and then you get a bunch of Tim Dillon videos. You know what I mean? Like, and then you're into it, and then it's a little bit, and it gives you a little bit more. And you're like, okay, I'll watch that. It's like, it's sickening. But anyways, I went on a rabbit hole for him, and he just
quickly on Tim Dillon. He's moving out of Texas.
Yeah,
he moved to Austin in that wave of like Joe Rogan followers, and he lasted like 4 months.
He hates it.
I don't want to be a dick.
He hates it. He hates it. But then he talks about that, how he always gets on the ground floor of something, or like right at the end of it dying. Subprime mortgages. He got to New York and everybody left for LA. He got to LA and then everybody left for Austin. Every financial decision he makes, it's always the worst, right? And he fully admits that. And that's part of his charm, is he's always angry. He's just missed the boat on whatever it is. Or he gets it at the end,
God, the anger.
That's the best, right? Then that's part of it too, right? He's really angry, and he has that indignant rage that's so entertaining, right?
What's one of the things that made me want to check him out more is he just hosted that Bitcoin conference in Miami, and he had like Jake Paul and the Winklevoss twins on, and I was like fucking cracking up listening to this because he's old. I mean, he's like 36. He knows enough about money in like the real world to stay like seated in reality, but he's opportunistic enough to like ride the Bitcoin wave, and he's able to kind of like stratify both those worlds. I mean, he and all of us, me and you too, we're at a special age where there's a lot of people our age in America. Top 10 ages are all like 30 and 34, like they're all like home ownership, like first time home ownership type ages, like similar worldview, post financial crash, but sort of pre financial crash. I kind of saw both.
We remember
things.
the good end of the Cold War, right? We grew up during the end of the Cold War, where America could beat any challenges. They'd won the Cold War, so there was nothing left. We'd beat poverty, we'd beat racism, we'd beat Soviet Russia. So the 90s were just this like era of plenty and greatness until September 11th, and then everything went to hell. But like,
the 90s let people get sort of ironic and like jaded again, like had the luxury of like
grunge, man,
political correctness to a degree, like that movement, like definitely starting at least in the 90s, it's continuing in the 90s.
And then now we realized it was all an act, right? And it's the end of the empire, the last gasp of the empire, and now it's all falling apart around us, right? And so it's just, picking up these pieces and these crumbs around us the best we can, right? while these titans above us,
When you say end of the empire, though, you're still saying we're the empire.
Oh yeah, America is the empire. America is the empire, man. Biggest fucking military, richest country in the history of the world, bar none. You know what I mean? Like, we're it, dude. We're it. It sucks, but
Carnival seems still better. I mean, is Tim Dillon an empire barker or carnival barker? I mean, he's barking about the carnival.
Yeah, he is. He loves it, though.
Yeah.
Look at how crazy this shit is. Look at how fucking crazy it is. And if you care about anything, you're fucking wrong, right? Because it's silly. That was more... That felt like Bill Burr. Kind of,
Damn near. I mean, similar territory, anger.
Yeah.
Anything anger-based.
Though Bill Burr is so angry, but he is so fucking liberal, and I enjoy it. Like, he is militantly liberal, and you think you listen to him, and then you're like, wait. I actually agree with everything you're saying.
Again, straddling different worlds, the anger of a Republican, but maybe the thoughtfulness of a liberal, if you want to put it that way.
The sensitive heart and, common sense of a liberal.
We can jump around here a little bit, but just to quickly touch on the Microsoft $2 trillion thing.
That's just an insane amount of money.
That's 1,000 billion.
It's just insane.
It's $1,000 billion. Specifically, this is $2 trillion, so it's $2,000 billion. It's just a lot. It's just a whole lot of money.
But universal healthcare is really expensive, guys.
No, I mean,
I know, that's totally two separate things. I know.
One of the reasons I want to bring this up is because I'm continually trying to think about ways that people our age think about money. Millennials think about money. I know, like, millennials famously are like the biggest investors in cryptocurrency, technology that currently does nothing and is just built on a wink and a prayer.
Exactly, though. We need a wink and a prayer.
When there are companies like Microsoft that you could have invested in 20 years ago,
right,
being like, that's a hot company, that's like a for sure safe company, whatever you want to call it, and it's now still just growing in value, still just ticking up in market cap, could have made you so much money over the years. Maybe the last 10 years, if you're we're talking about millennials about 30 years old. I mean, some millennials are 40. They've had 20 years to accrue wealth and to invest, whatnot. But still, we find these things so old and unattractive. But I think that there's just something about the watermark of hitting $2 trillion to remind ourselves, like, it's still kind of the old ideas that are making a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's still sort of the classic, proven elements of business and technology that are raking in the dough.
But you could argue that, two things. One, that America likes fast and sexy cash, right? We don't like consistency. We want it fast and now, and we want it like we just fucking ching. Whoa, look at that! We're fresh millionaires, because that's exciting. That's America, right?
Yeah.
And then two, Microsoft is a company like that rode and is like the top of the wave. Right, so like they got in at the very ground floor of computers and technology, and it's like to the point where like Ford used to be they were the only car maker for a long time, right, in America, and they rode that wave, but Microsoft did the same thing with computers, right? They're in I guess this is all hindsight, right? Because you could go back and be like, I don't know if they're gonna keep it going, but
no, and they could have.
They were league leaders for such a long time.
They could have been on top of the internet wave too. They tried. They had that like Netscape lawsuit where they were basically using Internet Explorer as a way to own the internet.
Yes, yeah.
So Microsoft did try to like stay on top and dominate and stay on that surfboard, whatever.
They just missed the boat with Facebook, though. If they would have only bought Facebook early, they could have really done something. But
hard to say though. They also bought Skype, and then Zoom came out of nowhere and took their lunch. So. They could have fucked it up.
Totally took their lunch.
They could have given it to a bunch of consultants who are like, oh, we should maintain profits and do this and that. And then 5 years later, someone,
That's a conversation, and some be really interesting why Zoom beat Skype. Because Skype had the name brand recognition well before Zoom. I would be really interested to see why that was the case. Like what was the catalyst that like made people go to Zoom. And now Zoom is the Google of video apps now.
It was a kind of a mixture of complacency in the name, right? And like / I guess marketing to some degree. It's the features. It's obviously the feature of how, to me, it's the audio ducking, the way that they'll cut everyone's mic off when someone talks, so they kind of like pass the torch to people in conversation. I feel like that was a huge thing.
Yeah.
Because they had 4-panel video before. They had those elements before.
Yeah.
But they show you who's talking, which is an audio technology, and they also duck everyone's audio out when someone starts talking. So they're like on-demand audio mixing for you. Everything's a podcast to me. I only see things in the form of podcast.
For sure. Communication is podcasting.
It's podcast technology.
Interesting. Yeah.
How the hell can we get millennials, as they are,
Mm-hmm.
I don't, what is it, we're at 25 to 40.
Yeah.
How can we get them interested in boring-ass companies like Microsoft? Obviously, Minecraft didn't work. They bought Minecraft. That didn't seem to get
That was
to
a
me.
very monetary smart decision, too, though. The money, that's the subscription-based service, too.
Minecraft?
Yeah.
I didn't even know. I don't even know how that
Yeah, I'm
operates.
pretty sure. Yeah. Fuck.
I'm a Roblox guy.
Back in the day, I remember when it first came out, Mojang, and he's the guy that like invented it, whatever. And it was my friend was playing it at like the early alpha, and it was like, check this game out, Minecraft, and it was like $5, and you got like the alpha key and blah blah blah, blah. And it was just like, and this was again like 10, 11 years ago, 12 years ago.
Is alpha like beta testing? Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
it's like the beta, and then there's like the alpha. Like it's like where it's about to go out, like it's really, really about to go out, and then but it's still being worked on at the time. But like the beta, there's a lot of bugs, things won't work.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure
never heard
somebody's
that.
gonna be like, oh, this guy's fucking no, but there's like a version of it.
You forgot to mention the gamma,
Yeah,
which
right.
is important when you have developed.
You know what I realized? I've listened to myself on this podcast, and every time I listen to myself, I hate it so much. I'm like, I am so full of shit constantly, and it's like,
tough.
I so confidently say these things, and I'm like, dude, I go back and listen, I was like, how do you know that, though? Are you sure? Are you sure?
See, it's funny because like we've created this moment. We're obviously creating some stage, and you feel like you have to fill the space.
Yeah.
It feels like you're supposed to assert yourself and know things and say things that you know, even if you don't really know them.
Confidently, too, and you just fucking confidently say them,
Actually, quickly, we as a thought exercise at the end of our last one, episode 52, we had questions about shoes. We briefly talked about shoes, and then said let's each ask questions about shoes, and we actually ended on a pretty hilarious concept because we were asking questions we didn't want the answer to, and one of yours was asking whether there will ever be one shoe.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
if we will kind of settle on one shoe, which happened with phones. Everyone has one phone. You would have never thought that
iPhone.
was possible.
Nope. Yep.
Especially smartphones, something like, oh, everyone cares about it, even infinitely more than shoes, whatever. But the fact that maybe if like Nike, and you didn't say this in the podcast, but just to continue it further, if Nike develops a shoe that's so fucking good in terms of how it automatically seals itself, keeps itself waterproof, a new material, whatever, then like everyone goes out and buys this shoe.
Super sustainable.
Especially funny last time because we also tied it into the Israel-Palestine conflict, and we're saying maybe that could bring peace in the Middle East. We took this like hilariously large and unfortunate world conflict situation and this somewhat seemingly asinine thought process questioning on shoes and then combine them into this incredible ending. It was just so amazing to me. Well, we got to ask more questions.
That's more questions. More questions. Give me some more questions now.
We were trying to ask questions that we didn't have the answers to, and then we solved the Israel-Palestine conflict.
Yeah, that was what it was.
So maybe the answer is questions.
Confidently solving the Israeli-Palestinian conflict with shoes. But they were mostly wear sandals, so that's a problem, I think. That's what we.
You said that.
See,
We got some comic fodder out of it.
Yeah. I think, but questions are how you figure things out. Like that's the only thing is. The only way to figure something out is I don't know, and then you figure the thing out, right?
If you want the right life, you got to ask the right questions.
Absolutely, and you got to stay fresh and new. Like I like the thing at the beginning. You got to have new ideas. You got to be open to new things, and because you get stagnant, and then you won't go on Twitch and see what these Twitch thoughts are doing in their hot tubs, and then you just man,
Twitch thoughts, not talking about thoughts, not using acronyms like that. You're proving your youthfulness back to you. I think the only other thing I teased, I know of it, is having silence and leaving space in your life. I feel like I should bring that up at least once before the very end of the podcast where you're going to trigger us that it's been an hour, or you're going to.
Is it? I don't even think, has it been almost an hour?
No. But I wanted to at least mention it.
Okay, sure. Yeah,
so we
you did
have
tease it.
opportunities. And actually, you spoke about like filling the space with like assertiveness and saying things even when you're not sure.
In this show, especially.
That again, a product of the stage, man. We're setting that kind of stage up because we always wanted a blank canvas to paint on every time.
And I want it interesting. I want people to be engaged. And, it's good. It's fine. I wish more people would actually call me out on it if I was. You know what I mean? That's the thing. It's like
you mean me?
You. Austin, no, whoever the people are people in Nepal that are watching that could tell me how bullshitty I am, because you just do it. You just say things, and you're just so confident. And you know, I wish people would be like, actually, you're wrong. And I could take the criticism. I want the criticism. I want to be better. I want to know. Stay off that topic, because that's a little, you know. Like, I was talking about politics, okay? I was talking about politics, all right? And I was listening to myself, right? And I was telling this to Randy how much I hated listening to myself, because I sounded like all these people I didn't like, right? Because we were talking about Republicans specifically.
Okay.
About how, like, and I was like, no, they're done. We got to just excommunicate them from the country, right? And I was like, that's insanity.
Put them on a boat and shoot them.
Right.
By
like,
Tim Dillon again.
And fucking shoot them, you know?
Actually, Bill Burr had a bit about shooting people on a boat. See, I am crossing Tim Dillon and Bill Burr. That anger is getting...
It's just
you know what I'm about? The carnival boat thing?
Yep. There is angry comics, though, are an important part of American discourse.
Take every Trump voter.
Yeah. But,
round them up.
But that's fucking insanity, though. That's insane.
Fuck them up.
I made me sound so... I was like, man, dude, if you don't like people doing it on the other side, like, why are you doing it like yourself? You know what I mean? Like, we should be more coming together and not so much, you know, because there's way more things everybody agrees on than things that they disagree on. You know, at the end of the day, it's all, you know, you just talk to somebody and like, actually, I agree with you on X, Y, and Z. And it's just like those really minor little things on the sides that are like, right?
I think Republicans and Democrats both watch Thoughts on Twitch. I think there's no doubt in my mind.
Why not? Thoughts are for everybody, dude. Thoughts are thoughts.
When you heard yourself on the playback for the Republican piece, was it really just like, I don't want people slinging mud at me like that? Do you feel like your take was actually not that good? Like, what brought you to that realization? Was it just purely just the sound of the viciousness in your voice?
Yeah. Like, it just, I was hearing that confident belligerence. You know what I mean? And I was hearing it, and I wasn't like, I was just filling the space with this confidence belligerence-ness. That's not even a fucking word. But, you know, it was just it just was like, ugh, you know what I mean? I was like, ugh, you know, I want to talk about politics, if I talk about politics, in a bit more enlightened kind of way, right? And not so stark black and white and so final, because that's not what it should be. That's not what it should be.
Well, I think the best thing about podcasts is its space and its room to be nuanced and to waver around an idea and not just instantly have to settle on something like you would like a TV segment.
We got 5 minutes to get it out, and if you don't get it out, you know, you're like, man.
God, even 5 minutes. I mean, when's the last time you watched something that lasted 5 minutes on TV or
on TV? Yeah,
YouTube even.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to cut this whole episode up into 1 minute YouTube videos. I just upload 60
clips,
YouTube clips, shorts, hashtag shorts on YouTube.
I did watch actually a series of like 40 or 50, like 3 to 4 minute, 5 minute videos, because they're all questions for somebody. And I was just into it. So I was just, okay, that's the next question, And there's like 30, 40 videos. And some of them were like 5 minutes long. Some of them were like 2.5 minutes long. And, you know, some of them you gave 7-8 minute answers for. And I was like, oh, this is really interesting. And there was so many more. I just kept going and going and going.
Do you have an opinion on TikTok? Speaking of video length.
It's super, oh man.
You don't have to?
I look at me, I'm like, ooh, TikTok.
Talked about Twitch.
Fascinating.
Talked about the
fascinated
TikTok
by TikTok. I feel like it is such a.
Have you been on it?
No, I'm too old, but I'm not. But I'm too old because I'm like, I don't want this app on my phone that's gonna, like, somehow this app is just gonna destroy my phone and my privacy.
Well, there's some serious fear mongering about it.
There was, and
to be honest, with a good reason to a degree. I mean, I'm sure there's all sorts of back doors.
That was what it was saying. It was like, and then like
PRC.
They would fix the back doors and then open up new ones, and it was just basically like whatever they wanted of your shit, they'll just take it. And I was like, well, I already give my stuff to enough people. I don't want some other company getting on my stuff, you know. But in a nutshell, Tik is you remember Vine?
Yeah.
And how good that was?
Yeah.
It is the creative constraints of seconds of video, right? You have a very short window to get your message across, and that's what a TikTok is. And it's like Instagram, where it's this visual medium where you're just cycling through, right?
You're telling me what TikTok is? You've never been on it.
I know what it is. I mean, I've been shown TikToks.
No, this is funny because I know what it is too. And I recently did go on it to like see and not do so much assuming whatever.
It was Snapchat
but we
stories.
See it. Yeah,
I was gonna say we see stories in an app. That's what it was.
Yeah. Yeah, it does feel like that. And we see them now through Reels on Instagram.
Yes,
it's
Reels.
Permeated so many other elements of the
But that was always
culture.
Vine. That was what Vine was, right? It would be like a super ridiculous, and that Vine was hilarious. You go on YouTube and look at the Vine compilations, and I will cry because there's so many freaking hilarious, quick hits, right? And you just like punchlines, you know?
I'm asking about TikTok because I've recently just figured out that like everything is on TikTok, and
Yeah.
also I wanted to stop being so like dogmatic about media form. Like I love long form. I'm obsessed
like being dogmatic about it. I like being pretty militant in my ideas about what media is and what can't be. No. It's
what
hard.
if I took your 3 best takes every episode and TikToked them?
Okay, that'd be all right. That'd be funny.
And you could even go back and see your own best takes. Use almost like a bulletin board for the show. This is the way I'm imagining it now, using it for the Neverending Becoming, is maybe using the musical intros, maybe taking best takes, funny moments.
A lot of people. I shouldn't say a lot. I follow a lot of podcasts on Instagram, and
I don't, but I believe it.
A lot of those, like you'll get like a 2-minute clip of a good chunk of the podcast, and here's like a quick bit, and it's like you laugh, and they're like, yeah, I want to watch that, right? Like, I like that, right? But again, like it's that little quick hit, single serving thing, and so sometimes you might not even go to it, right? You just watch the little hit and feel like you watched the episode, and you scroll past it and be like, oh, I like that, and then you feel like you've gleaned everything good out of it, right?
Yeah, is it sort of replacement based where it's like, well, they're showing me the best part, so why would I watch
5 minutes? I'll watch 5 minutes. Like they do that with Rogan, where he'll put like a 10-minute clip on YouTube of this certain thing, and then I'll watch the clip and be like, well, I guess that's the best part of the episode, right? I don't need to watch the whole episode.
I think we're tapping into one of the reasons I was against stuff like even Instagram or TikTok then for this, because this is to me, it's so precious, the medium, and keeping it long, keeping it honest.
Yeah.
That to chop anything in a way that it's not originally meant to be seen, it feels dishonest. I don't think that's useful. I don't think that's the right end game, but I feel like that's how I was feeling.
That gets your fan base, and gets more eyes on it to open up your OnlyFans and your Patreon and all that other stuff, because then you're gonna I like that too, and then you're gonna get more people to view, because but at the end of the day, it's about them buying your dick pics. Them spending inordinate amounts of money on dick pics, because they want to get as close to you as possible. As close to you as possible.
If I had an OnlyFans, I think it would be more of a nut thing. That's me.
Just your balls in all sorts of places, like resting on things,
Well, they have a visual quality that even the penis doesn't always have, doesn't commonly have, I'll
10,
say.
15 club.
Mine does, obviously. It's very... Shakespearean is a word I could use. Orwellian is another word I could use.
Just 2 like surveillance cameras outside of your balls, just like.
Yeah, actually, I have the most photographed dick and balls in the World Wide Web at this point.
Man, that's a thought. Whose dick and balls is the most photographed? I'm sure he's
some like
Johnny Sins.
Porn star?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of a
That'll
name.
hit. That'll get some hits. It's kind of gross that it didn't take me that long to think about it. It's just a real.
I thought Ron Jeremy, but
yeah,
I'm like,
he's too old.
He's too old because his balls are on VHS more than anyone else.
And recently, he's going to prison.
He also got like all those allegations come out against him.
Yeah, pretty bad stuff from that guy. Yeah.
I assume this other gentleman you bring up is a real classy individual.
Well,
sweet sack. He's got a nice sack.
Just
too
his
easy.
Balls are just.
Guy's got some real nice balls. You got some sweet balls. Back to leaving space in your media diet, your pornography viewing habits.
You know what? It's funny because I've been trying to figure out ways to make room for reading again, because I consume too much scrolling and other videos and YouTubing and all that stuff, and it's like I don't make time for just the simple act of reading anymore. I used to read books like nobody's business.
I'm lagging.
And
I need to read more.
I just don't anymore. I don't. I'm on the end 100 pages of this book, and I've been on it for like a month. And I 9 times out of 10, I would drop the book. But there's something in me that's like, no, finish this fucking book, Matt. Like, stop doing this. Not like you liked it. Just finish it, And so I'll read it for like 4 or 5 pages, and I'll put it down for like 3-4 days.
What would Johnny Sims do?
Johnny Sins.
Johnny Sims?
Sins. Like
what would
sin.
Johnny Sins do? He would finish.
Oh,
he would fucking finish.
Yeah, he'd finish. I'm gonna Johnny Sins that book and finish all over it. Yeah. No, you're right though.
Reading is the obvious play because it's actively substituting maybe more garbage visual television time with like a healthy, productive
scrolling,
reading.
Dude. How much scroll? I do so much scrolling and I hate it.
I was even thinking like no media, like no books, no podcasts, just like allow myself to sit and maybe think some of my own thoughts. Possibly think some of my own thoughts. I've been oversaturated.
Sorry.
That's a good thing about the movable desk. Here, give us a couple inches. There you go. Perfect.
I've been putting my hands in different. That's hilarious. Do you see how scared I got?
Your fingers are tapping buttons. All this Johnny Sins talk making you tap the boner on the side of the desk. No, but I realized. Okay, here's what it was. I got really good at filling time, keeping myself nourished mentally during the pandemic. And now I'm starting to be much more social. I'm starting to see people again, do activities again. And now I feel just overly stimulated. Like I get my socialization from people now. I don't need podcasts as much. I don't need some of this media as much.
Yeah.
So I feel like I need to cull some of the influences that were maybe pandemic based. And I just need to carve out some more mental real estate.
Everybody needs a detox every once in a while. Everybody needs to vacation, right? Whether that be like an actual vacation from job, but like a mental vacation. You need to get away from your thing for a little bit. And I think media, especially now in this day and age, you need to take breaks from it. You need to take there's just too much. There's too much. There's too much.
Do you have any strategies like for doing that?
No, because I don't do it.
Okay.
I want to do it, but I can't.
We're talking shit here.
No, but like as far as strategies,
let's figure it out. I want to come up with some shit together.
Strategies though, I have physically had to put my phone somewhere in another room, and it's all about having conscious thought about it, not just casually doing it. It's consciously okay, I'm going to disengage right now for the next hour and do something else, right? I'm gonna just do something else, clean something, or you know what I mean. I do that a lot. I'll clean, and then being able to clean, I'll
no headphones.
Yeah, no, just
see
clean.
That's good shit. When I'm cleaning, whatever, I'm always listening to a podcast.
Right. I do the dishes, and I always have NPR on though. You know what I mean? And then sometimes I'll just leave NPR on, which is technically media. So even though I'm cleaning and I think I'm in my head, I'm still casually listening to something in the background. Do you know what I mean?
Oh hell yeah, that counts. The radio.
Totally.
That's the original background.
Yeah.
Now people can do it with Netflix.
Office.
They put Netflix, The Office
not
on his
anymore
background.
Netflix, but yeah, that was the deal, right? You'd put that on, and it would just be in the background. So you do your work, blah blah blah. I know a couple people working from home right now, and that's what they do. They'll put on a thing in the background. So even though they're working, it's just office noises in the background. Not even just the office, but you know what I mean. They want some minor distraction, right?
You're scrolling Instagram. Kevin's dropping the chili. Your emails are pinging on the laptop. You got multiple things happening at the same time.
Right. It's hard though. It's hard now. Specifically, I think in our age we are, because to disengage isn't as easy as it used to be, because there wasn't so many things coming at you at all times.
Back in the day, you could just, last time hanging out with your friends, tell them all to fuck off and then never call them again,
You could just
you'd still see them at the same bar, though, every single time. I feel like there's...
You could just cross country, change your name, and then start a whole brand new life.
There
and
you
could get away with
Better
it. Start
example.
a brand new life, whole family, and you would just get away with it, right? How often was that and then you just you're a whole new person.
If I did that, would you Skype in and still podcast with me? If
sure.
You're the only one I kept in my life.
I totally keep a secret.
I totally
keep a secret.
Lived in Nevada, I'd probably live in North Vegas or something, save on taxes, all that, that whole
Go to Austin and make no
Go to Austin.
Like everybody else.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't have a perfect strategy for doing it. I am going on vacation.
Oh,
soon.
That's right.
And I am gonna have it specifically. It's like a dense wooded area where cell reception is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
But this is the second year that there's internet there. There's a place I've been going my whole life. It's like a off the beaten path type place. But now there's the phenomenon of Wi-Fi.
Brought into the new century.
Yeah. So I don't have. It used to be built in. If you go up there, you kind of get caught off in the world. It saves you a little bit. You don't have to think about it, don't have to worry about it as much. Now I have to engineer more what I need to do to stay safe mentally, because you're just going to keep getting pinged and you're going to keep getting notified, and
you're gonna have to, like, it's gonna be like a cold turkey detox for a minute. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna probably, like, well, I shouldn't say me. I would probably be like, it would take me like a day or so to get used to it.
You mentioned using activities to get away from your phone. Like, when I clean, I'm gonna set the phone down.
Yeah,
which makes sense, because maybe I could like take my dog for a walk and not podcast. Be like, this is the AM walk. The AM walk is for you and your time, and not NPR's newest podcast or whatever had come out then.
Conan's new latest pod. I think it's important for me to put the phone somewhere else, because it's so often attached to me, and like ease of access. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like a free second and my mind wanders somewhere, and instead of letting it wander and let it just do, and then I'll just scroll, right? It's like I'll occupy, like you just said it, you want to fill your brain with something. And what it used to be was like, oh man, all this downtime. It's like, I'm not learning, I'm not getting anything, I'm not blah, blah, blah. So let me fill this brain time in with other things. But what it really is it's not like you're not eating steak dinner.
Can you believe it? You've been bullshitting for an hour already.
I can't believe it, me.
I can.
It's not like a steak dinner. You're eating popcorn, which is just not really healthy. There's no health quotient there. You're just eating fucking popcorn. Where instead of sitting down.
Oof, God.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, because you're making me not want to go on TikTok again, or you're making me want to stay off of TikTok.
And that's why
it's very
I've been off
popcorny compared to what actually can be like a YouTube steak. Considering how long the format is.
I got off Facebook because it was so toxic, right? It was just straight toxicity. I didn't want, it wasn't even popcorn at that point. I was just filling my body with poison. I was literally just reading people's stuff and it was just political stuff and just nonsensical bullshit. And then I literally detoxed myself from that. And then I got on for like more into Instagram, and I like Instagram, but it is just straight candy, man. There's no substance to what I'm seeing on Instagram. Oftentimes it'll lead me to something else that I'll actually go into, which will be a bit more denser and nuttier, like a Snickers bar, But I don't really feel like I'm eating, steak dinners anymore. As far as, it takes me, I have to like find that, Well,
honestly, the podcast app, just listening to podcast, audio of podcasts, it does feel like one of the higher brow new media avenues, even over Netflix now, because they kind of have like reality TV programming on Netflix. I mean, they have like Love at First Sight or Love is Blind or whatever all that shit's called.
Love Island. It was not Love Island. What is it? Flirty Dancing. You ever heard that one?
I don't know.
It was a dating show. Real quick, because I think you'll really enjoy this. It's a dating show, and the two people, there's one person, right, and she dances with he or she dances with like 2 or 3 different partners, right? And so they've never met each other before, but they go into it like the first time they meet is a choreographed dance, right? So it's like all the music will start, and then they'll see each other from across the room, and then they'll have like a dance that they've been practicing for the last couple weeks, and then they see if they have any chemistry in this dance, and then they decide like at the end which of the dancers you want to have the date with, knowing nothing about them but their flirty dancing. And I was just like, wow, that's on Netflix now. It's like
makes so much sense. Dancing is one of those classic mediums. It's never gonna go away. Same with the dating show. You just need to combine dating show with like every conceivable concept.
Celebrity dating game. The celebrity dating game is back as well, which I think is super funny.
Is there a dating podcast yet?
Yeah, I'm sure. I wouldn't say there's. Well, it depends on dating. What you're talking about. There's a great podcast that used to exist, still exists. Call Me Daddy. Call Me Daddy.
About the one that just got sold?
Yes, the one that the Barstool one with Sophia and Alex. And man, I used to love that podcast because it was a straight up good, new, fresh podcast. It was these 2 girls just getting down and dirty, talking about all this like raunchy ass shit, but it was very real and very like felt like hip and young. And these 2 girls who were very real and relatable. It also felt like something that was not meant for me at all, which part of the reason why I liked it. You know what I mean? It was like, you don't belong here, but like, here you go, But it was a lot about dating strategies, and like, just crazy shit. But it was very hot takey, I feel like. You know what I mean? It wasn't like, here's some good advice. It's just like, leave your man, just kind of craziness and like current dating, right? Like being a woman in this current atmosphere of dating, and how men are just like fucking awful and savage. So you need to be awful and savage right back and all this stuff. So there's absolute dating podcasts out there.
How to pick a water soluble lube to use for anal that works with condoms, right? That sort of shit.
Just a little bottle of spermicidal lube, you know? Yeah, but it was
funny. No, it's funny. We talk about creating space or whatever. We did run this to the end of the podcast. We're still.
Oh yeah, sorry. I guess we literally finished, and I'm still going, and you're ready for me to finish up.
No, we got a couple minutes.
Johnny sins this place to the oblivion.
We're there. It's just I'm glad I brought it up in time because otherwise we would have had no time for this. And obviously it's something that does require some time. Let's come up with some maybe some other strategies or just some some thoughts around that, and then let's do the question thing again.
Yeah,
let's ask some questions about something. Just again,
it is crazy to think though, like we've spoken for an hour, right? Like you want to talk about popcorn, blah blah blah. It doesn't feel like we've spoken for an hour because I feel like we've covered a lot of, you know what I mean, like. It just doesn't feel like it was an hour. Sometimes it's like, I wonder if it's an hour. It feels like it's over an hour and it's not there. This time I'm like, it's been like 20 minutes, bro. And like, we're just getting into this stuff, you know? Which is why this is a steak.
This is a steak. We're also in an air-conditioned room now, I think, which helps to have climate-controlled environments and to not have the beating sun on our skin like we've been doing for so long.
You don't see the sun go through the sky over your head, yeah.
Yeah, you see birds like being born, growing, dying, birthing, dying. It's like, oh my God, how much time is happening out here?
Neighbors waving, growing old and dying in front of us.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like, oh, Century 21's putting that place up for sale. Okay, I thought they were still alive. That's crazy.
So more strategies.
I was gonna say,
more strategies. Yeah.
Yeah, things around like carving out space. We mentioned you mentioned a location thing, like get the fuck away from your phone, basically. Yeah. There's also obviously the screen time. Method of like having it slap your hand when you've gone. That stuff. It depends. I love pairing it with a task. Let's come up with one more on the spot. I don't know, telling all your friends you're doing a 10-day meditation retreat and then just not doing it, but just not talking to people for 10 days. Is that possible?
Yeah.
Most of this is about me abandoning loved ones and friendships that I have.
Just fucking cut the cord like I do. I just cut it. You know how many friends I've just like let go over the years, just never seen again. You know, it just happens. That's life. And that's a tough reality, is knowing that like when you get older, you get that. But there's become a time where you're with your friend for the last time, and you might not even realize it.
Oh God!
You played the last game. There's friends. We played the last video game together, and I didn't even know it at the time. And they're just gone. We're done. You know, that's just life.
Stole the last comic from you.
Yeah, right. Like there's people that I gave comics to, and there's a couple of you guys out there that because I was always like, I would never want to keep the good things. I'd always, if it was good, I'd want to share it. So I've lost where I'll go back and look what these things are worth now, and I kind of like, well, I wish I didn't let that go. But it was good, and I wanted people to have it and experience it, so I can't really regret it.
Let me ask you another strategy possibility. One being, I guess, time frame. Like, I don't read text messages before noon.
That was going to be mine. Scheduling. You schedule that time and you make a fucking time for yourself.
When would yours be? Or when do you think the average person would benefit? Like the beginning of the day, the end of the day?
I think some quiet reflection at the beginning of the day is always okay. You know,
or maybe realistic. Because I think the beginning of the day makes the most sense.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's nice to get in at the beginning of the day and check in, do whatever, and then drop off the mat maybe in the middle, right? Like, what's going to long-term actually work?
So I'll just say for me, I think, and I don't always practice this, but I think in the morning, setting the rest of my day up is really important. And, like, clearing the space for the rest of the day. If I fill my stuff up at the beginning of the day, I might already color the rest of it, right? I'm already might jumble it all up because first thing in the morning, isn't it right? I'm right in here. The committee forms. I'm talking shit in my head right away. You know what I mean? It's already going. Yeah. You know, so when I'm picking up my phone, I can't say how many times in the morning I'll reading something, and always in the morning I'll have that like paragraph long comment I'm gonna send to somebody after some bullshit, like, you know, and then I always give myself like 3-4 beats, put the phone down or pick it up, and then delete the comment. You know, and I never send it. And I find myself, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, this is 4 or 5 minutes I'm sitting here writing this comment up about shit, and it's whatever time early in this morning, and nobody cares. Like, why am I doing this? You know, I need to clear the head, not fill it with shit.
Yeah.
You know, I think at night a lot, it would be good for people too to decompress, right? To decompress from the day and kind of try to meditate, let it all out. Right?
Well, night is probably the easiest time to drop off the map. Like, if you're going to drop off from 8 to 10 or 10 to midnight, it's probably easier 10 to midnight because everyone's like, oh, I guess they went to sleep, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, this depends on your age and expectations, but socially acceptable times to drop off are at night, which is, again, where not again, but I think people stay up at night for that reason in some ways.
I do.
The people that stay up like really late into the night, I think crave control over the way they feel or crave control over the pressures that are on them, right? Is that part of it?
100%. I mean, I'm up way late. Luckily, nobody I know really watches this podcast. But yeah, I'm up some nights I'm up till 2 a.m. I should be up till 2 a.m.
Yeah.
And I realized that the other night it was getting to 3, and I wasn't tired at all. And I'm like, why am I still awake? And so much of it is, it's because I've taken control over this time at night, right? This is my time. Yeah. I know what's going on in it. I don't have to, I dictate what's happening, whether I want to watch something or listen to something. But again, I'm always filling that space with some other bullshit, right? I'm never doing it's never me time. It's always to fill it with other media, right?
Yeah. Yeah, which ends up, what difference does it even make at that point, right?
Yeah, but again, I should stop consuming so much media so I don't need to stay up so late. I don't need all that extra stuff, right?
Yeah, and this is the Neverending Becoming podcast, of course, in which case consume
constantly,
yeah, if at all possible, habitually. Let's do the questions.
I was gonna say, let's do questions and then we'll finish it up. Okay, but you have to start questions, so you give me something to go for.
Okay, we'll do 2 questions each. Okay. Let's not even do it based on a subject. Oh. Unless, do you want a prompt? I can give you one if it's beneficial.
It's up here. It's just so freewheeling. I gotta have some.
Summer is the prompt. So 2 questions about summer. First one being.
I was ready for it.
First one being, do people stay up late at night more in the summer just because it's cooler and you don't have a loud air conditioner? You have the cool calmness of the summer night. It's easier in our climate in some ways to be comfortable, at least with my amount of body hair, to be comfortable at night in the summer than during the day.
Yeah.
Does summer make you stay up late?
Yeah.
Your question, go.
Has summer the idea of summer break, summer vacation, has that existed throughout all time, or is it a new modern thing that we've had because of the work week and all that stuff, right? Have people back in back in the day, it's it's summer, let's relax, let's take it easy now, it's nice and hot outside, or is it I'm thinking agriculturally, people it's summer, let's work our fucking asses off, right? I feel this new summer vacation thing is more of a modern thing, but I'm not sure, so that's my question. Has summer
my dad mentioned he feels guilty in the summer sometimes because it's prime time to do all construction projects, and you feel this pressure to set concrete or something that you can't do in the middle of winter, right?
Timing.
Another summer question. Is the temperature worth the humidity? Just that. That's the only one. Just that.
In Chicago, no. No.
And then our final question about summer before we wrap here.
Man, I don't know. I'm trying to be funny, and I can't think of anything funny. I was gonna be some global warming, conspiracy-ish question about
Sounds great.
So is the world really getting hotter, or is it just summer?
Thank you for joining us, everyone. We will find out next time, or maybe never, whether the world is getting warmer, whether it's summer.
Yeah.
Maybe it's fall. You mentioned it's the fall of the empire.
Yeah,
so.
This might be the last podcast we ever record, and we might not even know it, right? This could be the last podcast ever. We don't even know.
Have you ever heard the expression, just one last thing, have you ever heard the expression
you know what, fuck it, we're doing 2 hours today.
This is the August of their reign.
Oh, yeah.
People talking about the end days of something. You mentioned the fall of the American Empire. Are we in the August of America?
Because isn't that about Augustus Caesar? Because he was one of the final Roman emperors.
I don't know.
Augustus.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think I bet.
Pre-month, before the month, even.
Yeah, because it's maybe because that's the end of the end of the year, right? The end of the calendar, and it's wrapping up the year. It's wrapping the August of
I'm ignorant. I have nothing but questions at this point. So
more questions. Yeah, we are at the August of the empire. We're challengers to all sides. We have challengers at all sides. We have these authoritarian dictatorships that are using our strengths against us, ripping us at the fabric of our nation. Really, that's what we're doing right now. We're deciding throughout the world if democracy works or not. Democracy is being challenged like nobody's business right now because it's so easy to with all this technology stuff. So it's is the center going to hold, or is we just going to crumble and go back to these feudal authoritarian overlords to monitor us and mine our data from us? Anyways.
The answer is the center will hold, so don't worry, everyone. Enjoy your evening, day. Again, comment if you're watching this at night. So Matt is a late night host, just so we're clear on that. I got no comments last time, so just to make sure I'm going to keep that going, try to get some people.
Thought about making a fake account for a comment, but I didn't do it.
If you're staying up late at night, tell us, is it the summer that's making you stay up? Is it Matt's sultry late night voice that's making you stay up?
Is it the humidity or is it the temperature?
Is it the humidity in here, or is this podcast over, huh?
We're just having too much fun. Good night.
Bye.